It's not always fun and games for first responders.
05 Central, you show me in pursuit.
But sometimes it is.
Oh my God, he's not wearing pants again.
Sometimes it's dangerous.
Flipping around, look out, look out, look out.
Sometimes it's not.
Antler Boulevard for a snake in a house.
And sometimes it's just plain stupid.
Chihuahua in his lap on a lawnmower.
This is the stupid side of first response.
Dispatch, do I really have to go to that?
This is Code 0.5.
Come in 0.5.
Hey guys, Jason again, coming at you from microphone 4 because I still haven't been moved.
Oh my God. You're by the mixer, dude.
I didn't change it.
I was doing it by myself.
All right, my co-host Rich is here, and then what's her name? Renix is here. And Victory Brand Studios.
Victory Brand Studios. The one and the only.
All right, we're going to do this year things just a little bit different. We're going to have occasionally some serious stuff on here. We're going to even mention, like in some cases, statutes, like if there's ever, we get like an abundance of questions that are asked of us at work. Do not misconstrue that as legal advice.
Yeah, we don't offer legal advice.
Because between the three of us, none of us are smart enough to be an attorney.
No.
Because if we were, we would not be doing what we do now.
Exactly.
Big facts.
But you have some funny ass shit that put me in a bad spot.
Yes.
That you need to talk about.
Okay. So we got a new guy, and he's been going through our application process, and he made it through all the background and stuff. And so the next step in the application process before he can actually go out on the streets is to take the MMPI. And you guys can look that up and figure out what that is, but you have to have that in order to be a police officer.
Well, and it's Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory.
Okay, Mr. Can know it all.
I have no freaking clue what the hell that is and why we have to take it.
I don't know. And it measures stuff like your like if you're a hypochondriac or not.
And it
Or if
asks you
you're
like
a sociopath.
it's like, how many questions is it?
Oh, it's like what, 600?
560.
He's making shit up. He don't.
Okay, we'll say it's like 500 questions, and it's basically 40 questions, and of those 40, they'll ask you like 8 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird shit. Like, I love my dad.
Yeah. Like if you're a sane person, when you take it, when you're done, you're contemplating ending your life when it's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And that was another one of those questions.
Yeah.
They asked you like 8 different times, do you want to harm yourself or do you want to kill yourself?
By the time I get done with this, but it gets like, it has weird stuff in there. It's like, it gives you no context, but it's like, I like kids. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, so you start
like-
overthinking these questions,
like
these simple questions.
It's like, wait, what do you mean by
I don't mind kids. I have kids.
Do
I
you
don't like them
kids?
though.
It's like, no, I don't like kids. I don't even like my own kids.
But is it asking me if I like kids, like kids, or just like kids? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So it'll throw you through
And it's all true or false.
yeah, and you can't, like, there's no part where you can write out to the side like, okay, so I answered yes, but
Yeah, you can't explain yourself.
you know, it's weird. But anyway, so we had got him in there, and he had to sit through this, and it's usually what, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, before he took the test, like he was over there, and I think you might have stepped out of the room or something, and he was talking about it, and he acted like he was like kind of worried about it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling him, I was like, look, don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. You'll get through it fine. I go, I only know one idiot that didn't make it through that, so you're going to be all right. I mean, you'd have to be like a complete moron or something not to get through it. You know, trying to ease the pressure, the stress that he's trying to put on himself.
Well, that must have been what caused it, because when you send it off, it takes about a week to get back. The people that do ours they move through them pretty quick. I think they're one of the only people in the state that do it. But anyway, it takes about a week, maybe a week and a half. But every day, is it back yet? Did you get it back yet?
Oh yeah,
is it back yet? And I'm like, no. And then he's freaking Renix. Ask him if it's back yet. Is it back yet? And I'm like, Renix is like, hey, he wants to know if it's back. God, I already told him it's not back yet. I'll let him know when it's in. And he's like, my bad. He just wanted to know what's up. He's trying to move, which is good. You want him to, you want him to be ready to get out on the streets and stuff.
You want that enthusiasm.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
A couple weeks go by.
I was only about a week.
And then I come back over there and I was talking to him like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, man, he goes, Rich called me and said I had to come over here. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, what for? And he goes, well, he said I had to take that test again, that there were some things that were like misleading or something.
Yeah.
And I have to take the test. So immediately I feel like shit because I just got done telling this guy a week ago that if he doesn't get through it, he's a moron.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh, I feel like freaking crap,
Yes.
Well, then you came back around, then I didn't mention it to him anymore, but I felt like shit for a while because he's like, man, I got to take it again and all this.
Oh, yeah.
You can.
And so we tell him he doesn't have to take the initial 6 left. He doesn't have to take the 6. Hang on. I'm trying to see what he's freaking handing me here.
Let me see.
The initial 6.
So he has to, you have the initial, whatever, 500-600 tests. And then, okay. Now I'm tracking. What do you give me? So we tell him we've got to send him to Oklahoma City to do a more in-depth test, which is like 800 more questions. And we left it at that. And then he texts back a little while, and he's like, that's nuts. And he was coming over to show us some stuff. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll get it scheduled. And so, like, he comes that afternoon and asks me about it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll call him. And, I'm kind of playing it off like it's not that big of a deal. Well, in the meantime, I had received the results. So he was already, so this is just being demented now. So I think I kept him waiting for like 2 days. And because he didn't have any gear or anything, we're trying to get all that up too. But anyway, yes. And I'm like, so when's good for you to be able to go? And he's like, just whenever. And he kept asking me stuff. And I told him that they said it was inconclusive, and that further testing was needed. And he's like, well, what's that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. There's a thing. Hang on. So I go back.
That's what he told me. It was inconclusive. And I'm like, oh, shit. I just told him earlier he'd be a moron.
I go back and make this paper up talking about how there's sometimes a candidate can answer the questions that paints themselves in a too favorable of a light, basically that you lied. And you
so you made up a whole letter and stuff? Like
Two.
Two.
Jason, it looked so real. Like if Rich had handed me that letter when I first started, I would have thought I wouldn't have thought it was fake.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
I wish I had that letter.
No, but dude, you got to find me the one where when I told him what it said.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so it's getting deep. So I've made these letters and I get them over there, and I keep kind of stringing them along. Well, we were over here laughing about it one day. I was getting a monster over here at Victory Studios.
And when he says we, I guess you're talking about you and Renix?
Yeah, me and Renix.
Yeah, because I had no idea what was going on.
Oh, yeah. Says you want to make sure that that's known.
I had no idea.
Okay, I found it.
So, one of the letters that I had wrote, I said, a bunch of psychological crap. And then I was like, and that the applicant may not be suitable for working in close quarters with other male staff for prolonged periods, as the test results showed homosexual tendencies and an aversion to realistic or hyper-realistic phallic objects that may cause salivation and rapid breathing. And I gave this to him. And I don't guess he looked at it. I don't guess he was so stressed out that he didn't get wait a minute. I let it ride. I was like, sure, he's going to go back and reread that and be like, no, this ain't right. No doctor in their right mind would say anything like that.
And so he's still going on about, okay, so when can we retake this test? I'm like,
gosh, I didn't know all that crap.
Oh, yeah. So
that's not even the best part about it.
No. So me and Renix are over here laughing about it. And he happens to be related to Miss Mandy over here. And she's like, what's so funny? And so we tell her what we're doing, and she's like, oh my God. She immediately, her and her husband immediately jumped in. I started getting blown up. She sent me questions. She's like, okay. So you need to type these out. And she gave me a whole list of things. It was like crazy things of these questions that I was supposed to put in front of him. And, the 800 questions that he's supposed to take. So I call him and I tell him, I'm like, hey, I think it's like a Tuesday. So I'm like, okay, tomorrow, which would be Wednesday at 2:00, you need to be at this address, which is the actual doctor's office address, right?
Yeah.
just in case he Googled it to see that it's a real place. And so like later on that night, I'm like, yo, hey, wait a minute. I got a call from them. They said they can't do it, but she'll send me the stuff and I can do it in our office, but it has to be supervised and I have to videotape the entire thing. So I put this list of questions together and I'm walking around freaking reading them to him. And eventually at the end of it, I went through like, I think 15. That was the day you were sitting there. I went through like 15 of them. I'm reading them all serious, you know, and he's got a little bubble sheet and he's bubble sheeting everything in. And then I get to the last one and I was like, do you realize that your freaking chief and your lieutenant have been messing with you this entire time? And he was pissed.
And on Tuesday, I guess, when you told him he could take it, whatever.
Yeah.
I came around and that's when I finally found out what was going on.
Yeah.
But see, that's the other part to that. So Miss Mandy and her husband knew about it, but so did his entire family.
Oh, yeah. So all of them were in.
They
there?
were all in on it.
His dad was freaking getting in on it.
Oh yeah.
He even read the letter because he had read that letter to so many people and none of them even keyed in about, wait a minute. No. Realistic or hyper realistic phallic objects. That's not something a doctor would say. Nobody, dude.
But in his defense, I didn't know what phallic meant until
you didn't know what subsidized meant either.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Vocabulary is not your strong suit.
Sometimes I wonder, do you sit around with is there a thesaurus in your office? If you think of stuff to go and look it up and see.
Oh, yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it needs to be one.
Are you going to freaking make it on to me for reading a dictionary?
I might.
Yeah. Oh, my God. But, yeah. So, anyway, that was a pretty hardcore.
Now, you know, we do this stuff to these guys to get them to loosen up, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that y'all did, that was hardcore.
Dude, 2 letters.
Especially if you let it go by for how long? Like a week?
It was
you were
about a
making
week.
him wait.
I wish. Because you talk about my vocabulary right now, but I wrote those letters. And when I wrote them, like you would think that somebody that knows a lot more than me wrote those letters.
What I was saying is like,
That's why I thought it was so real.
Are you like, what's another word I can use for this? And then you look in the thesaurus and they're like, oh, I can use this one. And then you change it or something.
Well, you know how like you'll be writing some stuff and you'll be like, you know, I arrived on scene and the reporting party advised that the suspect broke into whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen a lot of things now where they're like, just talk instead of saying it like that.
Yeah.
Just say, you know, when I got to the address, I talked to Susan Smith, who told me that whatever his name broke into the house instead of using the advised and all that crap. But I mean, you know, sometimes it's a flex when you use, you know, I ascertained through my observations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, big brain.
Yeah. And then you show up
to court looking like a
court or
derp.
whatever. And then they're like, what? Looking like a derp.
Looking like Officer Doofy.
Yeah. I'm sure the ones that Rennick's cases, their defense attorneys are like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be a pain in my ass. And then Rennick shows up and they're like, there ain't no fucking way, boy. That wrote this. He's in trouble though if they ever ask him what subsidized means.
Yeah.
He got so excited.
And you know, earlier we were talking about stories or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a good one that I'd brought up to or thought about, and I forgot what the heck it was. I mean, it's not going to top the testing that y'all did with that guy.
Oh man! Oh, no, I've done that before with other people though. Several. That's a pretty good one to do because they hear test and they're like, oh crap, and it's like you got to tell them it's like no, it's not like a like numbers test. It's not logic stuff. It's all a psychological thing. I don't even know.
Which freaks out people even more.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Well, a lot of people panic when they hear that word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and I even tried to tell him, I was like, look, if Renix can get through it, you can get through it.
Exactly. That should have been his first.
It's like, don't worry.
Yeah.
Thanks for setting me as the bar.
Yeah.
Which is not very high.
Oh, and he even made it through without his iPad.
Without his iPad.
Yeah. His iPad.
Made it through Cleat.
Yeah, because they did all that blended academy stuff.
Half of it was
yeah.
online, half of it was in person.
So he'd have to be like, they'd be in a Zoom class and they'd ask a question and it's, they have to participate. And he'd be like digging through his iPad and find it and be like, oh, look at me, I'm smart. Saying, but like reading it word for word, like that wasn't a dead giveaway. Nope. Memorized that myself.
Oh,
So what are you doing tonight? Where are you going?
getting beat.
Where are you taking her?
Nowhere tonight. That's next week.
Oh,
Yeah, too many kids.
I know that.
I wish I could get rid of them all.
Shoot.
Just tell them to take care of themselves for a little bit.
And of the family, and I read this somewhere, and Tasha does not agree with me. They say in a household that kids are a cancer of the household.
Oh, they eat everything.
Yeah, because they
Tear
all they
everything
do
up.
is take and take and take, and they provide nothing.
Oh, yeah.
They're a parasite.
little parasite.
Like those little tapeworms.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. My kids were going on about something today, and I was like, y'all. Because I noticed kids these days are real vocal. Because, like, when I was growing up, if you complain, oh, it's cold in here, it's hot in here, you know what I'm saying? Oh, my foot hurts. My dad would slap the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? Shut up.
Yeah.
But now kids today are vocal. And, and I was talking to Holly about that, and she's like, what? Oh, said something about made me the dick because I wasn't allowed to express my feelings, but now kids can freely. And I'm like, that's just weird. They shouldn't do that.
I know.
She's like, what? Express their feelings?
When you were a kid, if it was cold outside and it was cold in the house and you complained about it being cold, you're like, you want to see cold? And they stick your ass outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. My dad wouldn't have had none of that. They're like, I don't want this. And then they'll do the crap where they'll pick at dinner and they basically, you give it to them, but they spread it all around and they move it. They don't really eat anything.
They make it look like it's been,
like it is.
Yeah.
And then, 30 minutes later, they're like, can I have a peanut butter sandwich? You just ate.
Did you eat your dinner?
Freaking Xander came in last night. It's like midnight 30 and he goes, you mind if I make myself a sandwich? I need a midnight snack. Since we're already I was like, boy, you don't take your ass to bed. So that's a no on the sandwich.
Being your kid, I can definitely see him doing something like that.
I was like, do what you want. I was like, but if your mama catches you, you're on your own. He's like, all right. He did too, boy. He made that dude.
Does the reward outweigh the risk?
Oh, he made it. Because I went to go see. He made it. Of course, everything was strung out all on the counter. And so I'm in there doing that. And I'm like, where the hell is he? And I go back over there, and I guess he heard me coming out. So he on the couch. And then I'm looking at him, and he realizes it's me. And so he comes out from underneath and starts eating that freaking sandwich. I was like, whatever, dude.
Oh, wait a minute. Does mom know about this?
No.
Oh, he's in
She
trouble
will now.
Nah. He cannot be prosecuted after the fact.
Statute of limitations.
Yes. She'll get so mad at me too because there'll be crap going on and she'll ground one of them or both of them or whatever, and I will have missed whatever it is, but I'm coming in on the tail end of it, and I listen to it, and I'm like, Your Honor, I'd like to petition the court for to see if they would rehear the case on behalf of my client. Excuse me. Well, you see, there's no way it could have been my client. My client clearly states that he was at Nana's when this occurred.
So you would really side with the kids?
It depends on what it is.
I was going to say, I just stay out of it.
Oh, no. It aggravates her. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. Because she's already laid the smack down, and I'm over here getting him out of it. But then it's always all right, fine. You want to do that? Do it. From now on, it's all you. I'm like,
oh, yeah, I've heard that.
I just got a call. I got nope. Then she's been sitting there. You wait till your daddy gets home. Oh, you just wait till he gets home. And I come in and drag an ass, and she's like, ooh, you're lucky. Hey, babe. Just go to bed.
We'll have more coming up on Code 0.5.
If you're looking for a political podcast that goes beyond the headlines, check out the Beltway Briefing. I'm Howard Schweitzer, CEO of Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies. Every week on the Beltway Briefing, our team of former Republican and Democratic presidential appointees Capitol Hill veterans and political advocates, shares behind-the-scenes perspective that cuts through the noise. If you want the inside scoop, subscribe now to the Beltway Briefing here or wherever you get your podcasts.
Something like what I used to do when I was a kid. I'd be a holy terror for my mom. I was terrified of my dad. So I'd be a holy terror for her. She'd be like, I'm calling your father. Okay, call him. And she'd call him. And I'd be acting like a freaking angel when I'm talking to him on the phone. I don't know what she's talking about. I didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're lucky.
You're a manipulative bastard.
When it came to my parents, absolutely.
I mean, I'd be a terror for my mom, but there wasn't I'm going to call your dad, because there wasn't no cell phones around then. It was a wait till your dad gets home. So then I would have to wait for hours wondering how much I'm going to get beat when he gets home.
Oh, yeah.
And the worrying and all that.
But see, and then there's a lot of that doesn't happen anymore. None of that goes on. And then that's why we have to deal. We end up dealing with people's kids.
Well, a lot of time he'd get home and he work hard. So when he gets home, he doesn't want to bust my butt. You know, he's like, I've had enough to deal with today. I don't want to do this.
But do you, like, you've had those calls where somebody's like trying to get their kid out of bed or whatever, their kid won't get up and go to school, or they're in a fight with their kid because they won't clean their room, and then they call us and it's like, why did you call me? And then you find out, and so you talk to the parent, and then you go and tell the kids, like, what are we doing here? Clean your room.
Yeah.
Seriously? Yeah. Just clean your room, dude.
Call into dispatch saying
Easy.
that the children are being unruly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. And then you show up and you go up to mom and you're like, hey, I don't remember, but did we have sex before?
Yeah.
And when she says no, be like, oh, so then there's no way this is my kid. So why is he my problem?
Yeah.
I've tried to get many a rookie to say that.
Oh, man. That other one looked at you. He was almost going to do it, wasn't he?
I don't know.
He was damn close.
I could see him trying to.
If he could
Be like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just joking.
I don't know.
well, that one rookie that you had that told the lady to ask about the space heater in the attic.
Oh, yeah.
I could see him doing that.
Yeah. he
That's the
would.
one.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his most recent one.
Yeah. 33.
No. He's talking about a different one.
Well, I was going to say, I can see him doing it.
The one he's talking about worked with me today.
Oh.
I can't remember badge numbers. They change them all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the serious stuff, since we're talking about kids.
Uh-oh.
And this is questions I get asked frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody gets it like nobody knows. And when you get to talking to people, they'll say, okay, now when a kid is at a certain age, a certain weight, or a certain height, that's when they go from a rear-facing car seat to a regular car seat to they can be in a booster and all that. And everybody says it different. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about was child restraints. And once again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. And I'm reading this. This is you can go and look up state statute at it's oscn.net. It's Oklahoma Supreme Court Network. And you can do legal research. They have traffic laws in there. They have everything in there. Y'all can look up stuff on your own. But if you go to the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office on their website, they have I don't want to say a dumbed down version, but it's simplified.
Talking about this one right here.
Yeah, it looks similar to that. But it talks about, and this is coming straight from the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office. And it's for children. It says 8 years and blah, blah. Anyway, from 0 to 2 years of age, by law, children under 2 must be properly secured in a rear-facing car seat.
Must be.
And this is the one that I hear a lot. They don't know when you can switch them from rear to forward-facing. So it says under 2, they must be rear-facing. So the day they turn 2 years old, you can flip little Johnny around.
Yes.
And you can see his cute little face in the rear view mirror. Because I know all you mamas out there, your rear view mirror is not looking at the traffic behind you.
Nope.
It's angled down where you can see your little angel's face. And they even got have you seen in the car seats now? They've got there's a mirror on the car seat where you can look from your rear view mirror to the mirror behind you, and you can look in.
That way you can see the rear facing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gangster.
So they don't have that mirror looking at the traffic behind them.
$1 million idea right there, boys.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're under 2 years old, they've got to be rear facing in their car seat. From 2 to 4 years old, they still have to be in that car seat, but you can turn them around. Okay. This is where it might get tricky and throw people off. From 4 to 8 years old, they must be in a car seat or a child booster seat until they hit 8, unless they're over 4 feet 9 inches tall.
Okay. So that's why Tasha doesn't.
Yeah, she barely meets a requirement where
Okay.
she don't have to have a booster seat.
Okay.
Right there. That's what.
So if you're 4 to 8 years old, you got to be in a car seat or a child booster seat, unless you're over 4 foot 9 inches tall.
Okay. Yeah, she's right there at the line then.
Okay. After that, when you hit 8 years old or you're taller than 4 feet 9 inches, you don't have to have your booster seat and any of that other stuff. It says a child should wear a seatbelt.
A seatbelt, Renix. Do you wear your seatbelt? Real talk. Do you wear your seatbelt?
Not always.
I don't either. Do you?
No, not always.
Now, if I get into a pursuit, I'll put it on, but.
Because then's the time to be safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because your freaking sack hanging out the window at 120 miles an hour, that seatbelt's just going to save the hell out of you, ain't it?
It's better than nothing.
And then it finishes up here. It says, regardless of age, the back seat is always the safest place for children.
Yes.
But it doesn't say anything in here that they have to be. So you can be, if you've got a single cab pickup,
As long as
they can be in that front seat with you, but they've got to be rear facing if they're 0 to 2, flip them at 2 to 4, and then 4 to 8, booster seat, unless they're over 4 9, then they can have a seatbelt on.
So did you get run up on today? Was somebody asking you this?
No, it happened last week. And and I should have pulled this up so I could have it ready. I think most fire departments do it where there's places around the state that actually will show people how to properly install a car seat.
Well, see, I know that if you are in Oklahoma and you are in Pottawatomie County, you can contact, Lieutenant up there, and he, I believe it's Hawkins, is affiliated with the car seat booster seat program. They have one through the through the I think it's the Unser Center or the Child Advocacy Center. They do that. Like, they'll help people with getting car seats and booster seats and stuff. But I think that's a thing that's available in most counties.
Yeah, and they'll show you now. You can't just go to like any agency or fire department and they'll all do it, because they have to actually be trained to do it. Because because like, say if you come up to me and I put your car seat in for you or show you, and then you get in a wreck and your child gets severely hurt because the car seat wasn't put in right, well, then who's liable for that? So
Yeah, that's true.
you got to call and ask them first. And if they don't know, I'm sure they'll help you and show you where. And you probably should do that before you have kids.
Yeah. Yeah, because
That's the problem with Renix is I don't think they showed. And,
Hey.
Oh, man.
Hey.
I've seen people, and it's like they're figuring out how to put that thing in the day the baby's coming home. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's like, it's all wonky. Like, it ain't even locked in, or something's just not right. And it's like, hang on just a second. You know what I mean? Like, let's get this squared away real quick.
Or you have people that are like, I've got these extra like little clip things. I don't know where they go.
Yeah. You don't want extra pieces on the car seat.
No.
Definitely not. No, that's not like Legos. But
so anyway, if y'all have questions on that, y'all can comment on wherever you listen to podcasts at, and we can try to help direct where to go to. And the last thing we're going to do on these episodes is, I thought our wives were going to get on board with this, but I forgot to remind mine. And we want to end our episodes and talk about a stupid criminal.
yes.
And I'd found one that I want to bring up.
What you got?
And like from the others later on, we'll call them and they I don't know, they're excited about doing that, but
That's just their thing. They have to research and find a stupid criminal.
and this was in Oklahoma,
Oh boy.
May of 2015. And this happened in Chickasha. May of 2015, 2 burglars in Chickasha kicked in the back door of their neighbor's home and stole almost $4,000 worth of goods. Only one problem. They forgot to empty the oil out of the deep fryer they stole. The thieves left a trail of grease from the burglarized home all the way to their home across the street. When officers arrived and noticed the trail of grease, they knocked on the door of the burglar's home and found all of the stolen items.
That's a dead ass. That's an Oklahoma crime.
The 2 men were booked on second-degree burglary and concealing stolen property.
That's not surprising coming from Oklahoma.
No.
You know,
But this
grabbing-
is something, I mean, I'm sure you guys have dealt with it before. Like
Might
if
have been
somebody,
a relative of Tweak.
someone breaks into a house like in the morning time when there's still dew on the ground, and then you
Yeah.
look and you can follow the trail back to wherever they went. But I found this on onlyinyourstate.com,
really.
and you go to Oklahoma, and it has dumbest criminals of Oklahoma, and there's a list of them.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we got hung up on Florida man there at those last episodes. There's just so much that goes on in Florida, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, with alligators.
I know.
Why?
I don't know.
So
It's like
much
they could
as
kill you.
so much as
Nah.
to create a statute for alligators.
Somebody said,
Exactly.
this is such a common thing. We need a law.
Exactly.
We need a punishment for people that kidnap and try to chuck alligators on rooftops. Like,
or through drive-through windows.
yeah.
Like
Oh, so that's going to be one of our dumbest criminals.
Alligators are protected, but like, you guys heard that like boa constrictors and iguanas and stuff are invasive down there?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, you could just, iguanas just everywhere. Like, people are eating them now.
what?
Mm-hmm. Iguanas are bad down there.
Hey, aren't those the ones that, like, when it drops below like 70 or something, they freeze?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
fall out of trees. Yeah.
And they say not to mess with them, that they're still alive?
Yeah, because once the temperatures thaw, it'll thaw them out and their heart will start beating again.
That's freaking nuts.
Yeah.
They're lethargic. There was a dude, it was on something I seen. He had like armfuls, like cordwood of iguanas, and they were just frozen. Yeah. I mean, he's like, oh yeah, this one. And you see him falling out of the trees behind him. It's like, this has got to be staged, but it's not.
But it's like some weird temperature. It's like 70 or 60 or something.
They're freaking, dude, they're thick down there.
You'd think it'd be like if it was below 40 or something,
Yeah.
to freeze, but it was a higher temperature that threw me off.
And they're just stuck. They look stuffed. It's crazy.
And they do. They're just stiff. They just lay there on the ground.
Oh no. Could you imagine if we had that problem?
Make it hard to mow yards.
Iguanas just loose
Yeah.
in Oklahoma?
Just falling out of trees while you're mowing a yard.
Oh, hell no. Take your mower in and get it serviced.
Oh, I was going to end the episode on that one, but I've got to do this one. This is number 6. I thought it was a top 5, but I guess this is a bonus one.
Mm-hmm.
2 thieves accidentally dialed 911 just after they robbed a house. They were discussing the jewelry they stole and other details of the crime. Police were able to track their cell phone and caught one of the suspects at a pawn shop selling the items.
How did they track their cell phone?
The thieves were targeting homes of grieving homeowners, and they would check the obituaries in the paper and then rob the homes when the families were attending the funeral.
See, and that's a big thing. Actually saw something on that, and it was advice from, funeral people or whatever. And it's like, this may sound weird, but make sure you lock everything up. If you know what I'm saying? Because people will do that. They'll wait till the...
Well, and I found, and I guess it's a known thing. I had a guy that I talked to on a call one time he broke into a house and his phone was broken. But you know how, well, he didn't have service turned on to it, but you know how on phones you can still call 911?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anytime you dial 911, since it's an emergency, it plots your location. That way, if you can't talk or something and we need to get to you, we can find you.
Oh, that's handy.
Well, this guy was calling me using 911, and he was saying that he wasn't in the house, said that he was in like Oklahoma City or Midwest City or something. And I talked to the dispatcher, and they go, hey, every time he calls us, it shows he's in that house. So, yeah, there we go. Another Oklahoma dumbest criminal.
What was it?
And I
really
finally told
criminal?
him, yeah. And I finally told him, I was like, look, stupid, I know you're in there. Every time you call, it tells us where you're at. Oh.
Well, what was
And then
going on?
he finally told me, it's like, if you knock on my door one more time, I'm going, okay.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We need some backstory on this.
Yeah.
Now, what the hell happened? I get that he called you 911, but what was the lead up to all this?
Well, there was, I can't remember. Somebody had called and was telling us that there was someone in their home, and the person that was there, they were like related, but this person had been trespassed from the home because, all right, I'll back up. It's like it was two brothers, and this home used to be dad's. One brother got the home, and it was in his name.
Okay.
The other brother would break into it and steal stuff and sell it.
Makes
So he was trespassed.
Okay.
Well, they went to go buy the house, and brother's truck was parked there, and they couldn't get inside, and they could hear something. And he was telling me, he goes, I know it's my brother. I know he's in there. His truck's right here. I know he's there. So that's what started the whole thing.
Huh. And then the brother that was inside was calling 911 from a dead phone?
Yeah.
Why was he calling 911?
Because I was trying to get into the house to get him out of
And
there.
he was telling you
That he
you
wasn't
better
there.
quit?
Yeah.
But he called 911
Telling me.
to tell the dispatcher to tell whoever's at the house trying to get in to stop.
Well, he knew that we were there because he said he could see us on his cameras. And then he said, and you tell whoever disconnected my camera on the house to plug it back in so I can see y'all.
Get the out of here. This really happened?
Yeah, and I'm standing there, and I looked at the guy that owns a home, and I go, is anyone living here? And he goes, no, it's vacant. And I go, so you're okay with me unplugging your camera? And he goes, yeah, I don't know why that's there anyway. So we had disconnected the camera.
My fucking head hurts so bad. Are you shitting me?
Oh, yeah, it was.
Plug my camera back in, damn it.
Yeah. I want to see what y'all are doing.
I ain't coming out. I ain't even here. I'm in Oklahoma City. Get out of here.
I ain't coming out. No, I'm not here.
Good shit.
All right. I'm getting threatened.
Uh-oh.
I got to go home.
All right.
We're going to close this one
You
out
sound excited.
because I'm going to go eat.
Ah.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
You have been listening to Code 0.5, the lighter side of police work. If you have ideas or suggestions for our show, we'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at code05.co. That's code05.co. And please consider making a donation at our Patreon page, patreon.com/code05. Be sure to use the digits 05. Thanks for listening to Code 0.5.